In 2023 question 8, we have a rectangular garden, 50 by 30. Here's our 50 and our 30. And it contains a regularly shaped pond of length 18 meters, which we can see here. We're asked to find the area of the whole garden, that is the total area of the rectangle. Nice easy start. Find the area of a rectangle, 30 by 50. Again, a lot of calculator use. 1500. Don't forget to put in your units squared when it's area, so meters squared. In part B, the width of the pond is measured at intervals of 3 meters. We can see here, it's going to lead to the trapezoidal rule. If you haven't practiced the trapezoidal rule, you need to start practicing this close to exams. So let's have a look at it in the tables. It approximates area, so it's under area in the tables on page 12. The trapezoidal rule, here it is, the area is h over 2. You should be able to follow here. H is the width, which we were just told was 3. So h over 2 by y1, which is the length of the first bar, plus yn, which is the length of the last bar, and then plus twice the rest added together. So don't be confusing. Don't be worried about these n minus 1s and all that kind of stuff. So let's see what we have in terms of h over 2 and all of that kind of thing. So the width of this first bar here is 0. H we know is 3. So we have 3 over 2. That's h over 2. The first plus the last, which is 2 meters. This one here. Plus twice the rest added together. So it's formula use. The rest, put them in. 10 plus 14 plus 12 plus 10 plus 8. And just be careful when you're typing this many numbers into a calculator. You might want to do it twice. We've 24, 36, 46, 54. Twice 54 is 108. Plus the other 2 is 110. Times 3 over 2. So if you want to change it to a decimal, 1.5 by 110 is going to be 165. And in squared, it's going to be meters squared. So this is a 50 mark question. It's a long question, 10 marks for part A. So make sure you write something in every part if you can. 5 marks for part B. Let's look at C and D. C is one of these give a reason questions. Suggest a way trapezoidal rule could be used with different measurements to get a potentially more accurate estimate of the area of the pond. Well, if we put a lot more lines in, anything like statistics with more data, if we put more lines in, measure them all, we'll get a much more accurate reading. We could also change h. Instead of h being 3, h could be 2 or 1. So change measurements is what I would write in here. Apart from the pond, the rest of the rectangular garden is covered in grass. All of this in here, blue grass. The actual area of the pond is 172, so 165 was close. So we had 1500 meters for the total, minus the 172 of the pond. That'll give me what the grass is. So that's going to give me 1328. We don't have to put the meter squared in all the time through the question. We can just put it in at the end. All of the grass needs to be resown, and the cost is $2.55 per square meter. So we have 1,000 square meters, big garden, 2.55 by 1328 will give us the answer to this question. And we're asked to round, just read carefully, to the nearest €10. This is 3386.4. To the nearest 10 will be 3. Is it closer to 80 or 90? 90. 3,390 to the nearest €10. And this was 5 marks for the reason and 10 marks for these calculator use mainly questions. 30 out of 50 so far. So some materials were imported from England. So an exchange rate question and interest rate. So the cost was $8.40, included this 16.9%. So $8.40 is equal to 116.9%. I think this is the nicest way to do these questions. So we want the cost before, so we want 100%. So how would you go from 116.9 to 100. You divide by 116.9 and multiply by 100. So 840. Get 1% by dividing by 116.9 and then times by 100. That will give 100%. So the cost before import duty was added, 71856 to 2 decimals, which is always money. And then in the last part, the gardener paid the 840 in euro. The exchange rate, paid the 840 pounds in euro. I'm misreading. The exchange rate was €1 is 85.47. He also paid this 2.5% as commission. Quite a lot going on here. These are both worth 10. Don't give up through the question. How much did he pay in euro in total? Okay, so 840 is the sterling amount. We're going to end up with having to pay more than 840 to get 840 pounds because the euros are worth less than the pounds. So that means that we're going to have to divide by 0.8547. That will give me what I pay in euro before the 2.5% commission. That gives 982.800, so just 982.80. And then to get 2.5% more than that, we multiply by 1.02. That will be adding 2%. 0.25 to add 2.5%. That gives 1007.37 in euros for the total cost correct to the nearest cent.